hope you've had such a lovely week so far. So a couple of weeks ago, I did a post on Instagram. I had quite a few people reach out and say that they really loved the format and the structure of it. And seeing as there are so many more of you over here on YouTube than there are on Instagram, I thought I'd bring it to you. And that is basically the 7 things that I do every single weekend to reset for a new week. I like to call this my Sunday schedule, but you could also call it a Sunday reset routine or just your weekly reset. You don't have to do this on a Sunday. In fact, for me today, it's a Friday because I'm swapping days around. I'm actually working all day Sunday. So today we are getting things in order. Any kind of Sunday schedule, Sunday reset routine, you really want it to have a lot of balance in there. I do think it's so valuable doing something or a few things to set your new week up for success. It just means in the week when things are busy, everything's just a little bit more streamlined and there's just less mental, physical clutter in the way, but you also want it to have a good amount of rest in there as well, so you can be refreshed for your new week. And I like to think that my 7 things, my Sunday schedule, has a good balance of both. So we're gonna get cracking. First up is actually not one of the 7 because it's something that comes around every probably like 3 weeks, and that is getting my nails done. It's finally time to say goodbye to the brown look. My baby finger snapped and it's so sad. I have really enjoyed having color, but think it is time to go back to my roots and we'll try color again another time, maybe at Christmas or something. So I'm gonna head out now, get these done, and then when we get back, we'll get cracking with item number 1. You obviously don't have to follow them in the exact same order that they are on the post. So I'm gonna head out now, get these sorted out, and then we'll come back and get cracking with item number 1 on the list.
Come on then. Oh, is Cameron having a party? Is he? No.
I just feel like me when my nails are this color. It's not as fun as the brown, I will admit, and this poor little stumpy thing is very sad. I decided not to put a tip on the end, but this is actually, I will insert a clip of the color that this was, but I did bubble bath with an extra layer or 2 layers of that little pinky color that she just suggested. And I actually think it's really nice. It's like soft, but really nice. Anyway, very happy with that. Okay, first on the list. This is actually also not technically one of the 7, but is something that I am getting into the habit of doing every single week. And really, to be honest, should have been on the list. So maybe it's 8 things that I do every week. It's sourdough time. So I fed the starter yesterday, last night. I think it is now officially ready. To be honest, it could even do, you know what, we're just gonna go for it. I was gonna say it could actually do with like a tiny feed this morning, but I think we're just gonna go for it. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I've been loving it when you guys have been sending me pictures of your sourdough. It feels like we found the perfect recipe, because the loaves that you've been sending from following my recipe, like, they're really good. So here's hoping I'm able to create one today that is as good as the ones you've been sending me. So today is actually, I guess, sourdough prep day, and then we'll bake first thing tomorrow morning. Yeah, I could maybe do with a little feed, but I don't think I can be bothered. Right, let's prep our sourdough dough. We've got a lot to get through. Okay, the dough is now prepped and it's going to auto-lyse for an hour before we begin the stretch and fold. So I'm going to move on to item number 2, which is going to be baking a sweet treat. I don't want to spend ages doing this today because I also want to get done my meal prep when the grocery shop arrives, and we're also going to make the immunity shot, so we've got other stuff to do. But I just think it's so nice to bake a sweet treat on an autumn afternoon. But we're also seeing family over the next couple of days, and we've got P with us, as you saw. So when our friends come to pick her up, they can also take a couple of sweet treats with them as well. I honestly wish Cameron and I had a bigger freezer, because if we did, I would feel so much less guilty about baking sweet treats all the time, because I just like pop them in the freezer. But I always feel like we need to be seeing people soon after I make them so that we don't have to eat all 12 or all 24 of whatever it is that I've made. So today for our sweet treat, I'm so excited already. We're gonna make chai spiced chocolate chip cookies. As you guys know, I believe I have the perfect chocolate chip cookie recipe. I've never tried chai spicing them, but I love chai, I love chocolate chip cookies. Is there really any reason why those two things shouldn't go great together? To me, it'll just be like an even more, maybe even leaning slightly festive, to be fair. This could be a good prep for like a Christmas cookie. Maybe this is quite a good like recipe test for that. There's something so festive about chai to me. It's so warming, so autumnal, and so easy to just do really quick when you want to do a little bit of baking on a Sunday afternoon, but you don't want to spend ages slaving over some huge masterpiece. These are perfect for that. So up next, chai spiced chocolate chip cookies. Oh, it sounds so indulgent. Round of stretch and folds, because I know some of you are crazy observant. Yes, I have changed my jeans. I just had some lunch and heated up some leftover like prawn pasta that I had in the fridge, and I honestly dropped, it was like one of the klutziest things I've done in ages. I don't even know how I did it. I'll insert a little clip here. It went everywhere. So the kitchen's had a little bit of a clean now, so that's good. Anyway, first round of stretch and folds. I always wet my hands before I do it, and it just means that it's way less messy, so I'm gonna do that. And then so that you don't have to watch me stretch and fold this every single time, I do 4 rounds of stretch and folds every 30 minutes over 2 hours. And that is what I do. I do like some stretch and folds and then like some coil and folds, and I just do it all in the bowl, wet my hands, because then you see like they come away clean if your hands are slightly damp. It does mean for like a slightly wetter dough, but it's never been a problem for me. Look at me talking like a pro, and we all began this journey together like a month or 2 ago. Anyway, I literally just like rotate the bowl, do a couple of stretch and folds, and like that's gonna be it for another half an hour. It's looking pretty good already, actually. Oh, I hope this is a good one. We haven't had any bread in the house. I want it to be all week because I didn't make one last week. Goes back on, another 30 minutes on the clock. The cookie dough is in the fridge. It has now had enough time so I can make the cookies. I really want to get on with my meal prep, but the food shop still isn't here. It's running late, which is really frustrating because I want to be able to get on with that and then bake the cookies. It just feels like an afternoon activity. I mean, I've had a really early lunch. It feels like more of an afternoon activity than like baking them now, because you want to be able to... You don't care about this. I'm thinking all of this through out loud. Okay, let's do it. Let's bake the cookies now, because I would rather just get all the jobs done so that I've ticked off all of my 7/8 things, and then I can have a proper evening of unwinding and then not have to worry about anything over the next couple of days. So fine, let's do the cookies, let's get it all done, and then I can always like warm a cookie back up in the oven. And we've got custard. I don't have cookies and custard, it's really cookies and ice cream, but we do have leftover. Okay, I'm getting excited about my dinner now. Anyone else do that? You have lunch and you immediately think about dinner? Right, let me pop this somewhere warm. Let's get the cookie dough out and turn it into actual cookies. Yum. Talk about timing. Literally just as I went to get the cookie dough out of the fridge, it arrived. Yay, this means I can sort all this, then make some cookies with a cup of tea, and that is just that is the right order to do things in. So if anyone else is nosy like me and is interested in what people get in their weekly shop, let me show you. Just to confirm, because I feel like I always need to, so people don't get upset, these plastic bags that we get as part of our delivery, they take them away every week and then like bring them back, so they're constantly recycled. We're not just getting loads of plastic bags every single week that we get our delivery. It's a cardo, so if anyone else does a cardo, then you know how it is. They just take the bags away, and they actually take the bags away, and every time you give a bag back, they refund you the price of the plastic bag, I think it is. So if you don't return, if you don't recycle them, if you don't give them back, then you're kind of like penalized for that. So love that. At the moment, Cameron and I are on a little bit of like a health kick, or we're trying to be. I saw this meme the other day that was like, was basically talking about always keeping your body guessing. Like 1 minute you're on a diet, the next minute like drink a load of wine, the next minute you go on a 2-kilometer run, then you eat an entire cake. Like I was like, that is what I do. I always keep my body guessing. It never knows what my next move is gonna be. But we're like low-key trying to make sure we're fueling our bodies the best way, especially going into winter. And last year, I mean, we're honestly haunted by how sick we were last Christmas. We just can't do that again. But this is all the stuff that we get when we're trying to be like a little bit healthy. And when I say healthy, actually, the main thing that we're focusing on at the moment is protein intake. Especially for me, my protein intake is not high enough at all as like a pescatarian, because I don't eat loads of fish at home. It's like a pretty vegetarian household. Cameron has now cracked and started eating chicken. Starting with carbs, we've obviously got the sourdough that I bake pretty sporadically, and then on top of that, we've got some of these like Warburton bagel thins and these like soft tacos we use for literally everything, like breakfast wraps, making actual tacos. And then we didn't need any extra like pasta or rice or anything this week, so none of that is in here. Protein, we've got chicken, burgers and ham for Cameron, and then I have got, this isn't chicken pieces, these are actually really good for if you are also like veggie, vegan, I think these are even vegan, but like veggie, vegan, pescatarian, but you want a meat substitute that isn't filled with loads of bad stuff. I mean, it is still processed, of course it is. I don't eat loads of it, but it is super high in protein, and I did a bit of research on like which are the best ones, and the This Isn't Chicken one came up really high when like compared to other fake meat products, of being like the least, like there's the least amount of rubbish in it for like a processed product. Also got some smoked salmon. This doesn't come in every weekly shop, I can assure you. That's a bit fancy, but because we got the bagels, I was like, oh, smoked salmon bagel sounds good. Frozen stuff, I should do that quickly. I love these Black Tiger frozen prawns. They are so handy and so nice, and they feel like proper fresh. They're raw peeled frozen prawns that just go in the freezer, and they're really good. This is also my fave like frozen vegetable mix, which I use for my meal prep. I've only started doing this in the last like week or two, and I'm obsessed with it. I do like a This Isn't Chicken and char grilled veg meal prep, and just shove it all into a roasting pan basically, and it comes out really good, and then you can stick it with pasta, with rice, with potatoes, whatever you want in the week. I'm still on my true fruit hype. These are so good if you're someone that always wants a sweet treat after dinner, which I am that person. They're so delicious. They're just strawberries covered in chocolate. And yes, the bag costs a small fortune, but they're so good, and you only, like I have 1 or 2, and then I'm like, that's it, that's all I need, my mint tea, my little strawberry. And then because I saw them and I wanted them, mini magnums. I used to have these in the freezer all the time, and we haven't had them in the freezer for ages. Who doesn't love a mini magnum? So let's get all the frozen stuff put away. Oh, crisps, they probably count as like carbs, I guess, but me and Eat Real have such an aggressive love affair. These hummus chips, honestly every single flavour I actually really enjoy, but these ones are also gluten-free if you're a gluten-free girly, because they're a little scoop. They're so good if you have a dip as well, like these, with a little like guac dip. They just scoop the perfect amount of dip. So delicious. And because they're like hummus chips, they're made of chickpeas, so they're like higher protein, but they still taste really good. They're not like one of those ones that's like, ugh, I'm just eating cardboard. Like, I really like these. New carton of eggs, obviously, and obviously Clarence Court Burford Browns. Not the only eggs I'll eat, but my favourite eggs without question. Oh, and we've also started, well, this is more Cameron than me if I'm honest, because I'm not this much on a hype, but he's also started getting egg whites, and you can get like liquid egg whites. So if you're trying to really boost your protein without also boosting your cholesterol through like all of the stuff that's in the yolk, but you just want like a pure protein boost, then these are actually really good. Or Cameron seems to really be enjoying this little carton of egg whites, but I'm not that much on a health kick, you know what I mean? I'm just dabbling lightly. And then other dairy, Greek yogurt, super high protein, cottage cheese. I still can't get my head around that just yet. Mozzarella, because it's delicious. And a top up of Parmesan. Of body wash, apparently. We love Faith. This is like not groceries. The Faith and Nature body washes are some of our faves. Top of milks. I think you already know this, but the Plenish almond milk is the only milk that we ever have in this house. It's the best one. It's so creamy. In my opinion, it's much better than the oat. Almond milk also raises your blood sugar less than oat milk does. I also find that Plenish have like either the cleanest ingredients on the market. I probably can't make such a bold claim, but some of the cleanest ingredients. I mean, it's literally spring water, organic almonds, and sea salt. So every single time they have a deal on, we just like bulk order them, and then they live in the pantry until they're ready to move to the fridge. And then fruit and veg, sadly we don't have any fun fruit. We've literally just got some bananas. We've got a load of apples already, and it's not the season for grapefruit, really, is it? And then we've just got veg. Big bag of kale, a roasted kale salad, but it's truly nothing quite as delicious. Tender stem broccoli, organic avocados. This M&S Rosa Verde salad is my fave, like pre-washed bag of salad at the moment. This one, it's so nice. Cucumber, spring onions, courgettes. I put courgette in basically everything. Grated, makes things creamy. Grilled. I think courgette is one of those vegetables that tastes so different depending on how you cook it, which is so good for versatility. A thing of lemons, we're going to use these right now to make the immunity shots, and a thing of tomatoes, because I'm going to use these in the meal prep that I do in a minute, but I went to visit my sister last weekend and they have so much produce growing in their garden, it's crazy. And so we were allowed to like pick some stuff. So we've got these like little mini courgettes, these little mini yellow courgettes, which is so cute. And then a whole bunch of tomatoes. Some of these green ones are still ripening on the vine. So I need to use some of these in the meal prep, but I knew that the green ones, like they're still ripe, like I said, like they're still ripening on the vine. They're not ripe yet. And apparently if it's like this, it's not the same as a green tomato that's like actually green. Like these apparently won't taste right. They'll taste, I don't know, I'll Google it more, but apparently these just won't taste quite right. So I needed a tomato top up to compensate for the fact that those won't be ready. And that is it. That is the full weekly shop. I'm gonna get the rest of this away, and then meal prep, immunity shots, cookies, laundry. I think those are the last on the list, are like the jobs. And then we can move on to some of the nicer things on the list this afternoon. So let's get those done. I'm already ready for like a cup of tea and a cookie. So first up, meal prep. We're doing very well so far. Immunity shot's done. Veg is out the oven and just cooling a little bit before I put it into its containers ready for the fridge. Cookies are now in. I'm gonna try and do a little bit of laundry. There's a load on that still hasn't finished, so can't take that out yet, but I'm gonna try and get some stuff folded. Hopefully that will literally take me the same amount of time that the cookies are in the oven, and then I can do arguably my favorite part of the entire reset. Maybe not like the most relaxing, but just that gives me the biggest brain clarity. First up though, let's fold some laundry. A less fun activity. Guys, what can I say? Alexa, turn off. It's so loud in here because the washing machine is on its final spin cycle. But look, a flawless cookie every time. Oh my gosh, they look so good. They now just need to cool before I can eat one. But yum. And oh my gosh, it really does. I'm sorry to say it, but it smells like Christmas in here. Wow. So from a food prep perspective, this is officially everything that I'm gonna do. We've got our cookies. I've just given them a little sprinkle of flaky sea salt on the top of some of them. We have our roasted veg. Like I said, you can add a little bit of this to like sauce and have it with pasta. You can just add chicken to it, whether it's like Cameron's proper chicken or my fake chicken or see, I don't need to explain roasted veg, but basically the roasted veg are all good to go. And sometimes it's just handy to have more ingredient prep than full meals. And then we've got all of our immunity shots. These ones are lemon, ginger, and apple. And Cameron always prefers them with like less apple and like more of a kick from the ginger and the lemon. So that's what I've done there. And then in here, we've got our dough, which is still doing its thing, and that'll be ready for its like bulk rise soon. But this is all the food prep that I'm gonna do. And I'm happy with this. I've got some cookies for the week, which is the best bit without a doubt. Now it's time to make a cup of tea, get a cookie, and move on to, I think we're on to now step number 5. First up, and most importantly, cookie review. I have obviously already had a bit and I can confirm it's delicious. It's so good. I think maybe a tiny bit too much nutmeg. I really love nutmeg, but I think for the average person, I think I grated in a tiny bit too much. So I'll adjust the recipe for that. Otherwise, this is the most perfect Christmas cookie. It's almost like a bit too Christmassy to be eating in October. I didn't really realize how festive this cookie would feel, but whoa, it's so good. Wow, that just really elevates your standard chocolate chip cookie to a whole new level. Like the flaky sea salt on top and the dark chocolate chips, which, oh my gosh, I've got like dough and food all over me, but that's seriously good. And then I've got an extremely large cup of rooibos tea because it's the afternoon. I think the main thing that blows me away about these cookies is I don't understand how the texture is so perfect. Like, how is the outside crunchy, but the inside is so gooey when, like, I don't know the science behind that. Because there are other cookie recipes that I try that just don't come out, like the texture distribution is not the same, but somehow these are perfect every single time and they're so easy. Look how big that chocolate chip is. That's an excellent last bite. Okay, sorry, I needed to finish that because I was not going to be able to talk to you properly and still stare at like a tiny bit of cookie left. So the next bit of my weekly reset, which like I said is I'd say my favorite part, but more than my favorite part is the part that makes the most amount of difference to the week to come. And obviously all of this is to set yourself up for a successful following week. That is taking 20 minutes, doesn't even need to take that some weeks, 20 minutes to plan your week ahead. I do all of my planning activities in Notion, as you know, but you could also just do yours in a normal pen and paper diary, however you best, like however you organize your life, however you capture your stuff. Review your calendar. I am a planner, so I have like all my vlogs for next week already planned, what I want the vlogs to be, when they're gonna go live, what days I'll edit, what days I'll film, etc. But often those things need to shift, or I might need to move them around based on any stuff that comes up. Like if I've got an appointment that I now need to go to, I need to shift things around. You know how life goes. So I want to review my videos, and then I'm going to dive into each like mini project. I'm going to dive into each video and just check the plan that I've got in there. Often this is when I'll also go through a bit more like detail to map out exactly what it is that I'm going to film for that video, because I might have just had like an idea of inspiration and then written the concept down but not kind of fleshed it out. So I'm going to do that. Honestly, planning videos is literally my favorite thing to do ever, so I'm gonna do that for a bit, and then also have a look at my social calendar, work out when am I seeing friends next week. If I haven't got anything scheduled in, then this is when I'll like text my friends and say, hey, what do you want to do next week? Should we plan a time to see each other? Same thing with family, same thing with Cameron. If I feel like we could do with a date night next week, we kind of have our date nights pretty spontaneously at the moment, like all the time, because it's just the two of us. I feel like we date each other a lot, but sometimes life might get in the way, and then we'll feel like we need to actually schedule it in, so it definitely happens. And the final thing is just checking if there's any life admin that I feel like I need to book in next week or just get scheduled for the next couple of weeks. So whether there's any like laser appointments or dentist appointments or hair appointments, or if there's any packages that I need to take back to the post office, or bills I need to pay, or subscriptions I need to cancel, like I just do a bit of a life admin review and check. But honestly, that is it. And if I just do those three things, like review my work for the week, review my social calendar for the week, and just review like my life admin for the week, just do each of those for like 5-10 minutes each, changes the game. It means I wake up tomorrow. Oh, actually the final thing that I do is I review my Monday in particular. So I'll go through my Monday and make sure that is like time blocked hour by hour, or like 30 minutes by 30 minutes, to make sure it's all accounted for and I've got like a proper schedule of what I'm gonna do on my Monday morning. I just find Mondays in particular, I want to be able to wake up, have a plan, know that if I execute that plan, I've had a good day, and it just takes all question and doubt and all those things out of your mind. I just sometimes find Mondays brain foggy or a bit stressful, because probably I'm brain foggy. Whereas if I wake up and I've got my calendar, okay, 7 a.m, you're going to the gym, I can just follow the slots. Yeah, that's it. If you can take one thing away from this entire video like that, this is the one to do if you don't do it already. So that is what I'm gonna spend the next 20-ish minutes doing. And then all the productive stuff is officially gonna be out the way. And then the last 2 official, but 3 unofficial things left on the plan for today are so nice. So let's get this done, and then we can move on to those things. Yes. Are you looking for him? Should we go? Should we go on a walk? Stop terrorizing her. She's ready to go on a walk. Yes. Come on then. I know, he's so annoying, isn't he? Winding you up. Yes, he is.
Are we ready to go? She's definitely playing.
You having a good time?
From the pub, it just wouldn't be an autumnal weekend without a trip to the pub, would it? It's actually getting so nice now. I had my first glass of red wine, I think a week ago, and oh, it feels so good to be back. I'm now curled up on the sofa. Cameron is making us chicken burgers for dinner. I'm obviously having fake chicken, but I'm having chicken burgers for dinner. He is curled up next to me. Having a dog is so nice. I love having a dog. And we're on to the final step of my weekly reset, which these numbers all happen in completely different orders every week that I do it, but we're on to the final step, and this week it's happening in the evening, and that is, of course, if you know me, is reading. I think that when you reset for a weekend, whenever you get a bit of downtime that's like just for you, diving into a good book is just always a good idea. So at the moment I'm reading the Book of Asriel, which is a fantasy story about a war between gods and monsters. And I think it is a romance, and it's going to follow a romance between the female main character that is a monster and the male main character, which is a god. And I'm only about like 15-20% of the way through, but it's really good so far. Like, I'm really enjoying it. I heard that it was a very dense start, but I'm having a good time. I'm on a really good reading streak at the moment. Like, the last book I finished was 5 stars. I just absolutely loved it. I've got such good books coming up on the rest of my TBR for October, so it's a good time to read. It's crazy how as soon as the evenings get darker, the temperatures get colder, all I want to do is like curl up with, I mean, I want to read all year round, but like especially this time of year, I want to curl up with a good book and get lost in a world that is different to ours. I want to get lost in a fantasy story. Ideally, I want to get lost in a different realm with different creatures, and I don't know, there's just something extra special about it this time of year. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep reading the Book of Asriel with my very fluffy dog, a chicken burger, maybe with another glass of red wine. I don't know if we'll open a bottle, maybe we will. I've got pumpkins laid out on the counter next to the TV. The fire's on. I mean, just autumn really is in full swing at this point. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. I know the steps really are simple, but to me, the simpler they are, the more effective they are, especially when it comes to a weekend. Like, who wants to spend their weekend doing really long, arduous tasks? I certainly don't. So I hope you've got a bit of inspo on ways to reset for your new week, or if not, you just enjoyed coming along for a very cozy day. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you're not following me on Instagram but you think you might like to, then I'll pop the link in the description box. Also, just a small reminder, if you're not subscribed but you do enjoy my videos, then please do subscribe and join more formally. It really does mean so much when you choose to subscribe. But I hope you have such a lovely week, and I will either see you in the middle of the week over on Ellen Reads, my bookish channel, or I'll see you this time next week for another cozy vlog next Sunday. Bye guys.